So you can get lean at any age. Doesn't matter if you're 20, doesn't matter if you're 30, doesn't even matter if you're 50. You can get to between 10 to 15% body fat and stay there regardless of your age. You just got to abide by these 5 principles. And these principles aren't going to include doing a gazillion hours of cardio, training every single day, and eating like a bodybuilder, where you just eat chicken, broccoli, and rice all day. No, in fact, they are so basic and simple, they'll change the way you view fat loss forever. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the 5 principles that will help you to get lean and stay lean at any age. Principle 1, do less to get more. So the internet can seem quite overwhelming, and you may believe that you need to do more to get more results. So do more cardio, do more steps, and just train more, so train for longer in the gym, and just burn a hell of a lot more calories. Now in the short term, yes, this can help you to lose a bunch of weight. In fact, I did this myself a couple of times. So when I wanted to get down to a really low body fat percentage, I would just increase my step count, increase my cardio, and just train for like 3 hours a day. Now, there was a problem with this. When I eventually got down to a low enough body fat percentage and stopped doing all of this, I rebounded with my weight. With these rapid weight loss plans, this generally tends to happen to quite a lot of people because all of the extra cardio that they're doing to burn more calories eventually becomes impossible to stick to for their entire life. You see, your body is clever. So if you lose weight by burning a considerable amount of calories daily, when you suddenly stop being so active, but you're eating the same, then you quickly pile all of the weight back on again. To get lean and stay there, it's more about what you can do on a consistent basis. So let's say you get down to around 10 to 15% body fat, then you want to be consuming and expending a similar amount of calories every day so that you can maintain your weight. If you lose fat in a short period of time by burning a lot of calories, doing a lot of cardio, and you were on a diet at the same time, then when you eventually taper all of that down and when you start eating a little bit more, then it's going to be really hard for you to keep the fat off. However, if you lose fat over a longer period where you burn a small amount of calories but that you can sustain, eventually when you do go back to eating more, it will be much easier for you to stay lean. And that's why doing less over a longer period can actually give you more long-lasting results. And I'm not saying a short aggressive fat loss phase won't work. If you have a good strategy for when you come out of that fat loss phase, then you may be able to limit fat gain. But if you're not on a time crunch and you don't mind taking your time with your cut, doing it where you can sustain your deficit and sustain the level of cardio would be a better idea, as it will give you more of a chance of staying lean. Principle number 2, pick 3 focus points that move the needle. So what's going to give you the best bang for your buck? So think of a target. The further outside you shoot of the target, the less points you score. And the closer you shoot to the center of the target, the more points you score. So you want to think about what's going to give you the most points. So what's going to help you to get down to a low body fat percentage at the quickest rate? And these are the things that actually move the needle. But what are they? Well, from my experience, the diet, so being in a consistent calorie deficit, resistance training at least 3 times a week, and getting my steps in. And those are the 3 major things that have really helped me transform my physique. Nothing else really comes close. Things like finding and taking the best fat loss supplements or trying to find the best way or the most optimal way to lose fat are all great, but they aren't really going to help move the needle forward that much. So those things are like shooting on the outer part of the target. They'll give you points, but most likely the least points. So they'll help a little bit, but putting all of your focus on the simple basic things that work will be the most effective thing to do. So pick 3 focus points that are going to give you the greatest return, focus on those, and don't really worry about the other things. Principle number 3, fix the patterns. Broken and negative patterns is what keeps people in the same place. It's not that they're incapable of what they know they need to do, it's that they're not able to turn them into a pattern. So they do them for a couple of days, then they go back to their old ways or their old patterns, again, do it for a couple of days, go back to their old patterns. And this inconsistency is what keeps them stuck in the exact same place over a long period of time. So people that stay lean throughout their entire life have a specific pattern of living. For example, they find a way to get to the gym consistently. They find a way to eat healthy majority of the time. And they find a way to move throughout their day. The way they live is a healthy pattern they've learned to develop over years of self-improvement. Whereas people who are overweight have a broken or negative pattern that they live in. You know, they consistently drink alcohol, they consistently eat unhealthy foods, they consistently go to bed late and wake up early, or they go to bed early and wake up late. You know, it's these unhealthy broken habits that keeps them stuck. Their way of living is an unhealthy pattern that has gone on for many years and which has led to the accumulation of fat. You see, you don't gain an extra 10 to 20 kg of fat just over a few weeks of unhealthy habits. This amount of fat takes months or even years to put on, by living in this state. So what's the solution? Well, identify where these patterns are occurring the most. And during this time, what's your environment like? What's your mood like? And what does your routine look like? Then you can break the pattern by changing one of these factors. Stop it as soon as you identify when it's occurring, and it'll be much easier for you to completely break out of this pattern. Remember, weight gain is not because you do the good things consistently, but it's more because you do the things that negatively impact you consistently. If you want to lose weight, then you need to fix them and turn them into positive ones, which will help you to get closer towards your goal. And if you want long-lasting results, then don't look for the next quick dopamine hit, but look to do the hard things that take effort over and over again. Principle number 4, change the situation, your environment. So there's this phrase I love: a focused fool will get more results than a distracted genius. Now, putting this into a fitness perspective, if you're hanging around with people that are lazy, that go out, party all the time, that eat unhealthy food, then you're going to be distracted by all of this, and ultimately, it's going to slow your progress right down. We're humans, so we tend to get distracted and influenced by people around us. So if you're around people that, don't care about their health, they're overweight, then you'll end up becoming one of them. But if you're around people that are focused, that care about their health, that train a lot, that eat healthy, then you'll end up becoming one of them. So choose wisely who you hang around with. But sometimes it's actually better to be alone, because not everyone is going to understand what you're doing and what you're going through. And the more alone you are, the less distracted you are. It's actually a lot easier for you to concentrate on what needs to be done. Now, I'm not telling you to ditch your family and friends and, just completely get away from them. But it's going to come to the point where you're going to have to ask yourself the question: is your environment actually getting you closer towards your goal, or is it pushing you away from it? And if it's the latter, then you may need to think about, changing your environment a little bit. Maybe try motivating people, try becoming the leader of your family and your friends. But if they don't really follow you and they don't get what you're trying to do, then maybe become a little bit more independent so you can focus on yourself more and actually start doing the things that you need to do. I think a lot of people rely on other people to take action first because they're scared to be the odd one out, because, you'll get questioned. What are you doing? Why are you changing yourself? You think you're too good for us now, or what is it? This happens a lot, especially when you start working on yourself to become better. But the thing is, you need to go through this process. Otherwise, you're not going to grow. You're not going to be able to transform yourself. And ultimately, in a few years, you'll end up regret not taking action earlier. So guys, the only way to transform yourself forever is to change your situation. Principle 5, do not rely on motivation. So we all get motivated to do something at some point, whether that's a hobby, whether that's going to the gym, whether that's starting a business. We all get motivated at the start, but then that motivation eventually drops. And then what happens? You stop doing the thing. And then again, you get motivated, you get back into it, and then you stop doing the thing again. And this is what generally tends to happen to a lot of people. They go to the gym, they lose a bit of weight, the motivation drops, they stop, then they regain that weight. Again, the motivation goes back up, they come back, they lose weight, and it's just this cycle. And that's why a lot of people aren't able to get lean and stay lean. Motivation will only get you so far. Having the trait of consistency, even when it gets tough, even when it gets boring, even when you're tired and you just want to quit, that's what's going to get you the furthest. And this trait is so hard to develop because you have to completely change your mentality if you want to have this level of discipline. It's not easy to do, and I'm not telling you it's easy, but if you want to look better than majority of the population out there, then the first thing you need to focus on and work on is your mindset. It's the most important thing you can do if you want to change the way you look and feel about yourself. Now, understand that being disciplined all the time, every single day, is very hard, and unless you're David Goggins, it's near enough impossible. So what I like to do is create positive reinforcements for myself. So I make sure to track and log everything from workouts to nutrition to progress photos, because when eventually when the motivation goes down, I can look back and see how far I've come from a year ago, from 5 years ago, because I have all the weights that I've been doing from my workouts and all of the progress photos. So that creates some positive reinforcement that I'm doing the right thing and I just need to keep going. And if you don't have something like this, then it becomes very hard to stay the course. And it doesn't need to be things like your weight dropping every single day, because a lot of the time this won't happen. So you need to find another way to get that sort of feeling. And that's why I like to log my workouts. So find something that will help you as well. If that's logging your workouts consistently and seeing that you're gaining some strength over time, or just logging your nutrition every single day, that gives you a good feeling, gives you that positive reinforcement that you're doing the right thing and you just need to keep going. And then the larger picture will start to show. And this is where your weight will drop, your waist size will drop, you'll gain some strength over some time. And this is what will really give you that sense of achievement. So guys, hope this video helps. And these are the 5 principles that you need to follow if you want to get lean and stay lean at any age. And guys, if you did enjoy this video, then do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe down to my channel if you haven't already. And if you want to know the 10 habits I quit to get shredded, then I recommend watching this video next. And remember, stay natty, stay lean, and peace. I'll see you guys in the next video.